Okay, picking up where we left off yesterday. Oh, look who's here. Last one God. Your mother was here yesterday. I think she had a good time. I'm not quite sure. It was kind of chaotic yesterday afternoon. I think she had 3 people helping her in the print party. Still no dosa. I did the dosa last night. I had no choice. I couldn't wait till today. The printers needed it today, so I had to do my sizing job last night. And paper's out. Thank you. That's checked off all our boxes this morning, right? Paper is out. Dosa's done last night. Thank you for the heads up. So we're in the last block, and we're going to finish in a few minutes. This won't take the whole stream this morning. I've got 2 jobs to do this morning, one of which is just finishing this last block. We started this yesterday when the Chinese TV people interrupted us, and didn't know how to get to the train. Yeah, Wi-Fi problem. I think the Wi-Fi supplier she's using is using a microwave connection. On a rainy day yesterday, really hosed it. I'm not quite sure about that, but that could be what happened. I really don't know. It's the same provider that I used to use, and rainy days was just awful, so I gave up and switched to a different provider. All right, we got about 10, 15, 20 minutes work on this block. We'll get this thing finished, and then this is ready to be printed. And today is Friday, and Suga-san, she's off in Kyoto for a holiday this week, but when she's back tomorrow, she and I will be doing the test printing on this, and we can finally get next year's series announced properly and up and running, assuming that this block actually, works. I've got a cold. I don't know. The last few days I've had something in my voice and in my throat. And when I was doing sizing last night, I was trying to sing along to some YouTube videos, and I'm way deeper than I normally am. So I don't know. Some kind of cold is in there, I guess. I've got the shutter pulled down. We're probably not going to hear too many footsteps this morning. Not quite sure. We'll see. I don't know if you can see what this is at the moment, these spaces here. This is the background block. Let me pop up the image here so you can see what's going on. This is the background block. And this block is going to do the central section here. We'll be doing the orange glow that you see of all over the print. The upper point will be doing a sky area. And the lower point down here will be doing a dark gradation up from the back, from the bottom. They'll all be on the same block. And you can see perhaps, well, you probably can't see them, the image is too small there, but the lanterns have orange and yellow. And there's a yellow part you can see going round and around, and there's an orange part, and that's these dots. There's these dots in the middle of this lantern. There's different levels of this, and I don't know if these are going to show. These dots are just too small. We'll see. We'll give it a try anyway. Question here, whatever. I gripe about the neighbors. What? What's this? What do you show the commentary every day life of the story? So you get your customers. Whatever, we're trying just to... Oh, shoe lady, is she coming any minute now? Did I miss her, or is this the normal time for her to show up? I'll keep quiet for a minute now. She was on our side of the street today, which means she passes by very, very, very quickly. When she's over on the other side of the street, you can hear her coming from a longer distance away. The program yesterday, the Chinese program, went really well. It was kind of funny, actually. When they were here last week or a couple of weeks ago to tee this up, they didn't give me a whole lot of information. They just mentioned the raw facts. So they're doing a multi-part documentary. Maybe it's a 10-part documentary, I don't know, on the Meiji era. It turns out that the Meiji era in Japan here, it's 150 years. This year was the 150th anniversary of the beginning of the Meiji era. And it's something that Japan itself has not really commemorated. You don't see any official events surrounding it, stuff like that. They just went by pretty much unnoticed. I didn't even know what was happening, or I didn't even know that that was the date. But these guys are doing a multi-part TV documentary on this. And first thing up, this is a TV documentary from China, but it is also going to be simulcast on the net once it starts playing. So we'll be able to tell you when this comes up. And she said, don't get excited. It's not going to happen until next spring. The program is going to be put together bit by bit by bit. And next spring, the thing starts. So she'll let me know, and in turn, we'll let you know when our segment airs. But anyway, the point was it was supposed to be a program about the founding of the Meiji era. That's 150 years. And what they're doing is they're looking at many aspects of society, right down to small levels, and seeing how they were affected by the change, by the Meiji change. Now, I suppose they're doing some programs about politics and whatever, you name it. This wasn't. This one corner of this one program was about woodblock printmaking. But the thing is, she told me they were coming to do this, but she didn't specifically ask me to prepare anything or to talk about this or whatever. She just said they wanted a physical demonstration of printmaking. So that's okay. So when they came yesterday, as you see, actually, I was still involved in the stream. So they gathered their cameras around and they just sat there. I just kept working while they shot me carving. I used different tools and different chisels and whatever. And that was almost pretty much all they wanted. They wanted pictures of craftsmen working. But then what we did after that, we went back to the party room to show printing. And they had a commentator, a Chinese commentator. He's a writer of some kind. I've got no idea what his political bent is or what he's going to write about Japan or this or that. But anyway, our corner was just simply about the woodblock printmaking part. But the downside for me is what happened was they started off by asking me a couple of questions. And they kept me on a really tight leash. They asked a question about this and a question about that and a question about this. And didn't really give me a chance to sort of say anything of my own about this concept, what happened to woodblock printmaking in the Meiji era. Because it's a real story. I know at the beginning of the Meiji era, woodblock printing was an integral, functional, very important part of Japanese society. It was all the printing, all books, everything was done with woodblock printmaking. By the end of the Meiji era, by the time it was all over, woodblock printmaking was finished. It was nothing but a shallow shell. It was all gone. And woodblock printmaking had really played an important part in those changes, you know, in getting political messages out and, you know, whatever, this and that, this and that, this and that. But I had no chance to talk about that. They just asked me their pre-canned questions and I answered and then, wait, bang, they're gone, and out we go. So I felt it was a bit of a missed opportunity. It was too bad. They're here at the workshop of a guy who actually knows a fair amount about the topic they're having a program about, and yet they didn't actually use any of this knowledge at all. They just wanted to know, how long have you been in Japan and why did you come to Japan and all this kind of stuff. So it's too bad. I don't know. The final program's going to be worth watching or not. I don't know. What was also funny at the end, I know by the time we were finishing, it took a couple of hours, so the shop opened in the meantime and staff came and other stuff happened. Customers were in here in the front room. We were doing all this in the back room, the print party room, after we got going. And then when they wrapped up, it was kind of funny. We were out in the main shop here. I don't think there was any customers there at that moment, but the 3 staff members were here. And these guys wrapped up, they packed up all their gear. And then they asked me to stand for a minute, can we take a picture together? As the producer or something, whatever. So yeah, I stand there and one of the other crew members took the picture, whatever. And then in turn, all of them, the camera guy, the sound guy, the light guy, the producer, the sub-producer, the actor guy, they all said, can we get a picture, can we get a picture, can we get a picture? And so I stood there and like we took a series of some were selfies and some were photos. And everybody in the whole team wanted to get a picture with me here. So I don't know, I think the producer lady oversold them a bit. We're going to go and talk to this famous guy in Japan about this. And they're all like, whatever. Because they don't know me from anybody. There's no YouTube, essentially, over in China as much as we know it here. So these people didn't really know who I was at all. So. But they wanted their pictures. Okay. So ignore the stream here. You talk about propaganda films, but hey, I mean, how many times have I been on NHK, and that's real propaganda, you know, from one point of view, you know. I occasionally get that from people, you know. Most of the people who come in here, Dave, we saw you on NHK, we love your programs, thanks very much, love those travel programs, etc., etc. That's 99% of the feedback about the NHK programs. But every now and again, there's someone that comes in, and not in a hostile way or anything or whatever, And you see it also in comments, maybe there's a Reddit thread. Some of these NHK programs get posted here and there to Reddit or travel program, whatever. And someone jumps in and says, it's all propaganda, you know. Why is David taking part in these propaganda films to show the happy, happy Japan, you know? And I'll happily take part in an NHK travel program to show happy, happy Japan, because that's the Japan in which I live. So it's technically propaganda because NHK is paid for by some part by the government. But I don't care. I don't do history programs for them. I don't do history rewrite programs. We don't do that stuff. I don't care about that. They want me to make a travel program. I'll happily make a travel program. And NHK, of course, loves my work because it fits their what's the word? Not motive. The thing they're supposed to do. They're supposed to paint Japan in a nice light internationally. And the fact that a foreigner has come over and is appreciating Japanese culture, that fits with their propaganda, if you like, whatever. I don't care. I make woodblock prints because I like making them. If it happens that fits the message that they would like to show, that Japanese culture is a neat, cool thing, and so be it. I think we heard a question beep, right? What you're talking about, how to clean up the edges of the line and keep it straight. I'm not sure what you're asking about here. How he was going to clean up the line and keep it straight, the ends were green. You mean what I'm doing right now? It's already been cut. I'm not quite sure the question here. There's a line. I cut the line yesterday. I cut down here. And I'm just taking the excess wood. If you're curious about the gradations here, the gradations all happen at printing time. Gradations here are never on wood. Gradations are going to be printed, not cut. Anyway, question box. Somebody was in the question box. Hang on. Twitch ads. Hey. Where am I? I forgot what I was doing. Sorry. Twitch questions. There is indeed. Would it be a problem using the same block for 3 overlapping colors? Not at all. Absolutely not at all. We do this all the time, all the time, all the time. A single block will be used for many, many different things. And here what we're going to do, where I said we're going to print an orange color. I'm not quite sure where to, I've just roughly indicated it here. An orange color will come in the middle with a gradation at both ends. And then we're going to use the same block for a darker black. And once we've been using it and going back and forth and going black, the next time we do an orange, the block here will have a bit of black left over. And some of those might actually print into the paper. But it doesn't matter because that's where black is going to get printed. Your problem comes if you want the same zone orange and then later do the same thing black, and then the same thing later orange. That's when it gets to be a bit of a problem, because one color left can interfere with another color. But in this case, it doesn't matter. This zone will be orange. This zone will be black. This zone will be gray, and they won't interfere with each other. It's easy to splinter and split the wood and lose a crisp edge. Boy, I don't think so. We've got this is very, very hard wood. Dropped something there. I don't know. This is a very hard wood. I've cut into it. There's a line cut down. Are we zoomed in close enough you can see it? There's a line cut in. I took the wide chisel away. And what I'm doing now, I'm just simply cutting away the bottom of this thing. They match. At the top of the wood, the cut line, and then clear away. There's no danger of chipping whatsoever. Some of your prints use multiple blocks with different colors. How do you maintain the color difference being so crisp? Colors on, we do nothing, we don't dry anything. We'll print, well, you'll see it next time I do some printing on the stream here. The paper is moistened before we start, and it stays moist all the way to the end. Colors don't blur when you overprint them. If you print a yellow here and then print a blue on this part of it, you'll get a green area. It's hard just to sit here and explain in words. You have to wait for a printing stream to see the process. But that's just the way Japanese printing works. There's no blurring or blotching when you print one color on top of the next. It's just the system. It's just the way it works. Colors go deep into the washi paper, and other colors can come over top with no problem. Whatever, next week we'll be printing this thing. I'll be doing some of it on stream, I'm sure, and you'll see what happens then. There'll be this print has 7 faces, 7 printing faces, but some of them, this one notably, will be used more than once. This one will be used twice or 3 times, depending on how we do those gradations. 3 times, I guess. We'll do it separately, the top, the bottom, and the middle. This edge piece is really hard. The edge of the wood here, it's really, really hard. Finished? Oh no, one side, the outside, sorry. One more strip here and then we're done. The bottom too. And then this block's done. Then we're going to switch this morning, after this is done in a few minutes, we're going to switch to some printing here at the carving bench. We'll talk about it when I get there in a minute. and I tapped out with a hammer yesterday. Didn't get to it. Okay, I think we are pretty much done on this block. In fact, not just this block, I think we're pretty much done now with the block set for this print. Let's zoom out a bit then and have a look at what we've got. Okay. Let's have a look. Here's the block set. Let's pop up the original so you can see what's going on. See these things? I don't know how to get this so well visible. Anyway, here we go. So, here's the key block. You can see on the image on the left. Here's the key block. You can see the image on the left. It's just the outlines of the people walking in the foreground, and it's the border. Bingo. That's it. What's the next logical sequence here? Here, this one. This is sort of a sub-key block. This is going to be the gray tones inside the people who are walking in the foreground, and it has the outlines for the people at the next level back when you look into the distance. We then have gray tones for the people at the next level back, and it also goes over top of the people in front to make them even deeper. And that gray tone, you can see it on the woman right about in the middle of the print there. The gray tone on her kimono, on her clothing. And it also covers now the main tree branches and the first level of temple roof. And I don't know if you can see it here, but there's tiles carved on the edge of this block. So that's 1, 2, 3. What would be next is, still staying with gray, level 4, you can see on the front face of the temple. There's lantern shapes, and there's stuff all carved, and there's some leaves in the trees, and there's some ground tiles. So these 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, so far are probably all going to be done in shades of gray and blue. Then the color comes into the print from, where am I? From here. This is a block that's going to be printed in brick red. And all it is really, it's the brick red of the temple, and there are some smaller outlines off on the right hand side of the print of some buildings, and it has some outlines of some people, the people in the far distance. So this will be a brick red image, a brick red block. And so far nothing, the whole lantern area that you see here so far has not yet been touched. And the lanterns and the lights, that area, that comes from this block, which is going to be a bright yellow, and it makes the shape of each lantern. Somebody was calling them pieces of corn. They look like the other day actually when we were carving them. This is going to be bright yellow. And then this block, which in the central area will be done in orange, and that will put some orange lines around the lanterns, and it provides the orange tone that's in the background for the people walking in the far distance. And it's a gradation up and a gradation down, just about the level you can see imitated here. And then dark gradation will come up from the bottom. Maybe we'll do it once, maybe we'll do it twice. I have no idea. We'll play it by ear as we go. And it will cover everything. It will cover the people walking. It will come up from the bottom. And then this is the sky of the print. So far, everything we've printed so far hasn't touched the sky. The sky is still, at this point, bright white. And this gradation comes down to a point where it slightly overlaps the upcoming orange gradation and puts in the sky. And those trees, if you look over the right hand side there, above the lit area, there's some trees in the background, and those come from this one. This is the block that provided the shadows on the front of the temple, the shapes of the beams and boards and stuff. It also has those trees. Then the last question is, what about the snow? And the snow at the moment isn't carved, and I'm not going to carve it yet until we've done the first test printing. These blocks are theoretically all lined up, but in practice that's not how it works. There will be a lot of finicking and fooling around until we can get them all actually lined up, adjusting the registration marks. And once we've done a test print and they're all lined up really carefully, then I will take a print out of Jed's Photoshop snow. I will paste it carefully onto the background block. The snow has to be carved out of the sky and out of all those areas. And the same snow will get carved out of this block. This is the, which area? This is the dark, no, this is the red zone. The same snow will be carved exactly in the same position. There's no snow carving on that block. And there's one more. Yep, the snow has to be carved out of this one too, out of those trees and out of all the little bits of temple. And then also on this block. So snow gets carved out of 4 blocks. And when I told Jed about the snow situation, I told him clearly, I don't want any snow that is going to overlap zones. So it will be partly on this gray and partly in the sky. I want you to put snow in that gray, that's okay. On that umbrella, okay. On that roof, okay. On that branch, but don't give me any snow that is on boundaries. And he did so. He had some snow on boundaries and he moved them. So we're cheating a little bit. The snow is random here, but if you look carefully now, you'll see there's no specific snow block on a boundary. So lots of snow gets carved on more than one block, but not on boundaries, because that's really, really, really tough to line up. So there we have it. That's it. We're going to put this away for now. And I have to switch to a second job I've got to do today. A little bit of an emergency job came up. Let me get it ready and we'll explain it when we're and I have to go get my gear. Okay, excuse me a sec, let me go and get it. Oh, did we notice we have a guest here this morning? Okay, we've got some printing to do today. A little bit of a special rush job, totally outside of our normal work. Oh, this must be Cameroon sand. Hey, look at this, just in time, just in time.
Just in time, alright.
Just changing over, we finished the block set,
Oh, great.
now switching to that separate job.
Got it.
I didn't explain why I'm doing this or how we have to do this or anything about separate things.
That's okay.
Just let's stick to the basic outlines only, no details.
Morning, good morning, good morning.
They're talking fridge. I just put fridge in view here. I know
Oh,
when
fine.
I moved it. Actually, it's a bit in shadow here. Whatever. This is the only stream I've seen that has a ticker at the bottom that is actually useful. And I'm actually now going to turn it off because it's not true anymore. So
What was it?
No, it says we're working on the initial print of the 2019 subscription series Light Snow at Asakusa.
Oh.
Now I finished that for the moment, so off goes the ticker.
Yep.
We'll put a different one on. Okay, here we go. There it seems.